Hello everyone. So I'm completely supposed to be sleeping right now. Like, I had already made up my mind I was going to sleep. I had the light turned off. I don't have my tripod on here or anything. This is like completely last minute. But I was just scrolling through Facebook and everything before I went to sleep, and I got to reading someone's comments on a post and everything, and it just got me really thinking. So much to where I'm not going to be able to sleep until I get this off my mind, because it really kind of like the comments back and forth to each other were a little painful in a way, and not so much to where I was going to comment on it, because I don't get into Facebook drama. That's just not my style. But to the point where I thought that I needed to make a video and just get it off my chest, and then that way, it's not really drama or anything, but it's kind of bringing awareness to it, I guess. But so the whole point of this video is everyone heals differently. I don't even know where I'm going to go with this, but basically I just watched someone basically get bashed for how they're healing, because they're speaking out about what they went through, about the hurt and the pain that they went through. So the reason why this bothered me so much is I had a childhood that I had to heal from. I had a childhood that I had to recover from. And I wish that on no one, because that's like the hardest thing ever. When the first person who hurts you is your parent. It's hard. And like this whole situation that I just read about was completely different. It wasn't like it had nothing to do with a parent, but the person is a parent. And so like my first thought always goes towards the kids, because I was the kid in the situation. I was the oldest of my siblings. They didn't remember as much as I did. I don't talk about my childhood to a whole lot of people, because I'm in good standing with my grandparents now, and I feel like it upsets them whenever I talk about it. But to an extent, I do talk about things, because that's how I heal, is by talking about it. Because I was told whenever I was a child by my stepdad that whatever happens in our house stays in our house. We are not to talk about anything that happens in our home at all. And it took me years to realize that that's not right. That if you have to keep what happens in your home a secret, something's not right at home. My children should never have to feel like anything that happens in our home is a secret. The only secrets that happen in our house is if it's like a surprise for a birthday or something. My children should never have to feel like they can't go to sports practices or anything like that and feel like they can't talk about what we did at home as a family. It took me a long time to realize that how emotionally and mentally abused I was growing up. It took it like I'm kind of like speechless, because reading these comments on this post like brings things like this back up. Because as I've gotten older, like my husband gives me a hard time, because he's like, you put everything on Facebook, and I'm like, it's because I can talk about what pains me and not get in trouble about it. I can talk about what hurts and not be cussed out for it and yelled at or grounded or whatever, because I'm an adult and I make the rules now. I mean, my husband gives me a hard time because he's more of a private person, but to an extent I can be private, but when it comes to certain things, I'm not. And it's because I was forced into silence when I was younger. I was forced. So my way of healing is to talk about it. If I want to scream it from the rooftops, I'm going to scream it from the rooftops because I can. And nobody can silence me. And if you feel like you were silenced in a situation and you're free now, scream it from the rooftops. Heal. Do whatever it takes to allow you to heal. Me being able to talk about what bothers me, I talk a lot about my struggles with depression and everything. That is me being able to heal, to speak out, to talk about it. I don't have anybody who's going to silence me anymore. And so this post I was reading tonight, it was like people just wanted her to silence herself forever. She's already silenced herself long enough. Why does she have to continue silencing herself just because so she doesn't hurt the other person? They need to know what they did was wrong. I don't know both sides of the story. And I mean, I don't know who was truly in the wrong. I wasn't there, so I can't speak on their situation. But it just really got me thinking about my past and everything. I was silenced for so long, and it led me into making bad decisions. It led me into dating horrible guys whenever I was a teenager. And then when Josh and I got together, like, I didn't even let him compliment me, because it's like I didn't believe it at first because I was treated so poorly before. It took me a long time to heal, and honestly, Josh is what healed me. Like, him proving that he's not like everyone else. It took me a long time to accept that every man in my life didn't have to be terrible. I mean, I don't really like to talk about it a whole lot, but my dad, he was mentally abusive. Watched a lot of fights when I was a kid. And then my stepdad, he was a drunk, which led to a lot of verbal abuse, which led to emotional abuse. And then I ended up getting into some relationships that led to more abuse. And then finally I ended up with Josh, and he gets on my nerves sometimes, but he's not abusive at all. And it was a change of pace because I found myself getting trapped into what I was used to. Like, I was falling into those patterns. I was so used to the abuse that it was like, almost like I was attracted to it. I don't even know how to explain it. But the moral of the story is now I speak out about it. I don't speak out about some of it as much as I probably should because I don't want to hurt people because I've forgiven everyone who's hurt me. I have. It was hard for a long time because I had a lot of hate built up. Because I wondered, why I couldn't have what other people had. Why I couldn't have my dad in my life. Why I wasn't good enough for him to do better. I really hurt myself or beat myself up over it a lot. But I really made sure that my kids didn't have to heal from their childhood. Because that is the most painful thing ever. I was not expecting to cry tonight. But if you feel like you're being silenced, you need to break free. And no one should ever make you feel like you cannot speak freely about what you went through. Because if they're trying to silence you, they're no better than your abuser. They are no better. But I had to get that off my chest because if I didn't, I was never going to sleep because it was just on my brain. So, that is it. just make sure that you always speak freely. Make sure that no one is silencing you. Because if they are, then that is still a type of abuse. Good night, guys.